For sure. I
Yeah.
mean, and I think it's pretty clear, especially after this past weekend. By the way, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Um,
You can
co-
tell people why you're congratulating.
yeah, I coming in third at the New York City or the national championships for the 5K at New York City the day
Mhm.
before the marathon. So you came in right behind Matt Centrowitz, and I totally blanked on first place.
Oh, yeah, it's actually my former teammate Drew Hunter. So, yeah,
Right.
it was a great race. Like we all ran 13:53, so it was a very close finish there. And I didn't really think that at the start of this year I'd be kicking down a home straight with like guys that fast. I'm typically a 5K plus runner. They're like 1,500 specialists, maybe 5K runners every once in a while, and so it was really fun. Like that's a different experience.
I have a question about that. For me, I usually stick to longer distances,
Mhm.
and the 5K hurts. So when I run a
Mhm.
5K, it's pretty painful. I'm
Mhm.
guessing, it you've got to be running that all out to do that kind of time.
Mhm.
Is it as painful for you as it is for us amateurs?
Yeah, I don't think it stops, but I think like that's kind of why it's my favorite event because it feels like your foot's on the gas the whole time, and like it's almost like easy to gauge if you're doing it right, because you're like, is it hurting? Then, if it is
You're doing it
hurting,
right.
then you're doing it right. If it's not hurting, then, maybe you're not. Maybe you gotta pick it up a little bit. And so,
Well,
um,
how long, from the start line when the gun goes off, how long before you're in the pain area? Like do you get a quarter mile of this is not so bad today, or is it like where does it
yeah,
start?
I would say it starts like right around a mile. It's like you're pretty frantic over the first mile because you're trying to find like your positioning, you're trying to like scope out who's feeling good, who's making moves early on, and then from the last like 2.1 miles, it's like you're like, okay, like I've probably put myself in a position to where I'm only gonna like change one or two spots after at this point, and
Yeah.
so I'd say yeah, from like 2 miles out, that's like very important. You kind of have to like figure yourself out and put yourself where you want to finish or close to where you want to finish. Because sometimes it is nicer to like to sit behind somebody and kick
Sit
down
and
the
kick?
yeah, sit and kick a little bit. And so if you're gonna do that, then you put yourself behind whoever you want to kick down over the last quarter mile, and then you just kind of bide your time.
I mean, I guess there's two things. Like with it only being 13 minutes compared to, longer periods of time for some people, the pain is probably more intense, but it's shorter lived. And then the second thing I would ask is like, for people that aren't at your skill level, that are starting to get into, maybe more competitive 5Ks, maybe trying to, make a new PR in the distance. What would be some of your tips for that distance?
I would say the biggest step is like practicing that pace. You don't have to do a 5K at your PR every weekend or even every month necessarily, but I think like I enjoy running like 1K or 1 mile at 5K pace like multiple times in a practice. Like if we do 5 by mile or 5 by 1K or something like that at 5K pace, it's like probably not 5 by 1 mile at 5K pace. That's a pretty hard one, but like 5 by K at 5K pace is a great workout because you're hitting that distance, you're hitting the pace, and you're not like taking it out of yourself like in a practice setting because you have those like built-in rests between the K repeats, and so that gives me a lot of confidence. It just like shows that I can do it before I actually do it. And so yeah,
Is 5K your favorite distance?
yeah, certainly, yeah. I think I've always been naturally like pushed to bigger distances, but I'm like holding on to the 5K because I want to have like as much success in it as possible.